hello everyone, and welcome to the Midland Reporter Telegram's Area Football Report. I'm Len Hayward here with Oscar Leroy. We're in week 3 finally, right?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, week 3.
Okay, week 4. Okay.
Fourth week, week 3.
Okay. UAL is very confusing sometimes. Anyway, we're here week 3 of the high school football season. Area football games continue, all non-district. But it's going to be an interesting week of games. It was an interesting week last week. We'll start off talking about Greenwood. Tough loss to Lubbock Estacado. Basically, you know, we kind of knew Estacado had the type of athletes that could get Greenwood fits, and they did. Problem is, I think Greenwood's got more issues at quarterback, right?
Yeah, you know, Caden Hatley left with a hand injury. He'll probably play Friday, so, you know, but, you know, you don't want to go down to your third, fourth string, fifth string quarterback.
Right.
You know, they already have Caden Hatley out for another week, so, yeah, they had some issues there, but, you know, when you're facing an Estacado team, Estacado kind of seems to compound the issues.
So I understand Cole Barton was taking some snaps?
Yeah, he took some snaps. He had to because Jacob Armitage also left the game with an injury.
Right.
So it's questionable if he's going to be available for Friday. So
who's going to be the quarterback?
Well, for now, Cam Williams.
Okay.
For now. So you never know. Come Friday night, you don't know who might line up. So it could be interesting. So. Like,
Hannah
kind of joked about it. He might have to go to the Wildcat formation. So,
well, what we like to affectionately call the single wing.
Yes.
And then this week got an interesting game with Lakeview. This will probably be a short road trip for Lakeview, considering they've got to go to Central Texas this year for district. But this is a winnable game for Greenwood, isn't it? Or is it going to be pretty tough?
It just depends. I mean, Lakeview kind of surprised them last year. You know, they didn't expect for Lakeview to come in, throw for 7 touchdowns against them.
Right.
So you never know. Greenwood. Let's see how well they bounce back. Especially after getting run over by Estacado, literally.
Right. Yeah.
So Augustina Biggity had 211 yards against them. So that's going to be a key. But Lakeview is more of a passing team, and they will pass the ball against Greenwood. But I like Greenwood's secondary. They're a veteran unit, and I think they can shut them down. But it could be a close game.
Other than Monahan's last week, rough week for 4-3A, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. I mean, Seminole got beat by a pretty good Lubbock Cooper team.
Right, Lubbock Cooper's
pretty solid. So, but it wasn't pretty. Muleshoe ran over Andrews. Crane beat up on Fort Stockton. Of course, Fort Stockton has scored about a whopping 10 points, I believe, in
3 games.
In 3 games. So it's not looking very good down in Fort Stockton. So, but yeah, Seminole, of course, and Greenwood played some pretty good teams.
Right.
Of course, Andrews did too. Muleshoe was ranked number 10. The last 2 right.
Yeah.
So
Muleshoe's a good team. We'll keep it in District 4-3A. Monahan's got a big win over Midland Christian. I think everybody was kind of surprised. They weren't surprised Monahan's won, but they were kind of surprised how they did it. And talk a little bit about that. I mean, was that the way Monahan's dominated that game and as many mistakes as Midland Christian made? Was that the surprising part of it, that Midland Christian made the type of mistakes they did to get themselves out of that game?
I think so. I think the more mistakes they made, it just compounded things. And Monahan's is the type of team that's going to take advantage of those mistakes.
Oh, yeah.
They're a very well coached football team. They showed it Friday night. A couple of things just didn't go Midland Christian's way in that first half. And that just gave Monahan's all the momentum. They just kept it. You know, they kept pounding the ball, you know, with Pedro Cano and Micah Ramsey, you know, 2 small mighty mites, you know,
right,
you can call them that. And they just basically ran through a bigger Midland Christian team. That was the most surprising part, I think, for me.
Well, but the other thing is, did Monahan's just look like the sharper team?
Yes, they did.
You know, just looked like they were more comfortable in what they're doing and just looked less nervous, I guess.
Yeah, they did, and I don't know what what was the mentality on Midland Christian's side of the field, but you know they just went away from what they were doing well so early in the season. Of course, they didn't have Hunter Redmond in that game. Maybe that might have hurt them. They had to rely on Christian Wiggum a lot. Passing game wasn't there. Monahan's came up with 3 interceptions, one of which was returned for a touchdown, 50-something yards. So it was just one thing led to another. And it's just made it worse and worse. It was kind of like the Mustangs were in quicksand. They just couldn't get out of it.
Right. Interesting matchup this week for the Lobos. They get to go to Big Spring, take on the Steers. This could be probably one of the best games of the year. I mean, does it have that potential? I mean, Big Spring got a good win last week. Monahan's got a good win last week. You're talking about 2 well-coached, fundamentally sound football teams who aren't going to make a lot of mistakes. But is Monahan's You think it's a situation where Monahan's experience could play a difference at the skill position, or is this game going to be? I think this game may be decided down in the trenches on both sides of the ball.
It will be because and it could be the shortest game of the year because Monahan's both Monahan's and Big Spring rush for a lot of yards. Big Spring rushed for almost 500 yards, against Plainview, and Plainview's not the caliber of Monahan's. Let's just not kid ourselves.
Right.
But for Big Spring to do that, and they did it because of their offensive line. 5 returning guys, that makes a whole lot of difference there.
Right.
Neither team's going to pass the ball that much. And it might come down to the defense. Which defense is going to make the play?
Yeah, well, that's probably going to be one of the best games of the year, and I'm afraid it's going to be 10-7, 10-3, maybe even 10-10. But you never know; both teams could come out and score. There could be 60 points scored.
Yeah, they could start passing the ball. They could freak everybody out. So.
That's true. Give me a prediction on that one. Who do you think's going to win that one?
Wow. I'm going to have to go with Monahan's in a close one, 20-14.
20-14. How about Lakeview and Greenwood?
Yeesh. That's an even tougher one. It depends how healthy Greenwood goes into that game. But I'm going to say Greenwood also in a close one, 17-9.
Okay. I like Greenwood in the close one as well, winning that game. I think they're going to score 21 points. I think it's going to be 21-17. As far as Monahan's Big Spring, I like the Steers. I got to go with my buddy Jonathan Hall on this one. He's probably going to pick the Steers anyway.
But he's homer.
Yeah, that's true. I'd like to go, and I think Big Spring's going to win this one. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be one of those 14-10 games where it's going to come down to a mistake or two and come down in the trenches. Finally, interesting game this week down in Crane. Coahoma starting to play with a lot more confidence, playing against Crane. 2 weeks ago when you saw Coahoma, you probably didn't think they might be able to hang with Crane. Now, with the way they've seemed to be controlling the football, they could win this game Friday, can't they?
And they're playing very good defense. So,
right.
Yeah. If they can shut down Tyler Altoff, the quarterback for Crane, I think they got a pretty good shot because so much of Crane's offense revolves around the quarterback. And so if Coahoma can slow their passing game down, slow his running game down, Coahoma's got a great shot. I mean, they showed that they had a pretty good defensive team that first game. Their offense kind of set them back against Greenwood, but that defense has been keeping them in it, and then this allows Coahoma to run their wing T offense.
Are you surprised with how quickly those kids at Coahoma have picked up what Coach Gardner's teaching them, or is this the mentality of right? I mean, I know the wing T is a simple offense to run, but still there's a lot of intricacies you can do, and they've scored a lot of points the last 2 weeks. I mean, are you surprised by how well they've picked up what Coach Gardner's trying to do offensively?
Maybe in a way. Remember, I did pick Coahoma as my turnaround team, so
right.
I thought this would be a good fit for them. They have enough talent there to win, especially on defense. Offensively, they're just starting to roll, and Gardner's been tinkering, putting the right people in place, putting Tanner Reese at quarterback. I think that's helped out a bunch, and they're just starting to get it. And those kids really take coaching really well.
Right.
And they're taking to Gardner's coaching. Gardner's the kind of guy. He's gonna, he wants perfection in all sides of the ball, and he even though he won 44-0, he said, we have too many penalties.
Right.
We can't have that against good teams.
Right.
And so, and that type of mentality, I think it's going to help them in the long run.
It's a game where they have to limit Crane's possessions, right? I mean, if they do what they do offensively, they should be able to limit Crane's possessions. Who's going to win this one?
Oh, Crane it's tough to win at El Ave Stadium, but Coahoma has a good shot to pull this one off. I'm going to say 24-21 Bulldogs.
Wow. I like Crane in this one. I think Crane's probably just got a little bit too much for them. I think they're going to, it's going to be a little more wide open than Coahoma wants. I don't know how well Coahoma will do. If they can control the clock, control the possessions, I think they'll have a shot at it. I think Crane wins this one 35-28. So, Oscar, I'd like to thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining us here on the Midland Reporter Telegram's Area Football Report.